Hello there survivors, and welcome back to another build tutorial in ARK Survival Ascended. Today I'm going to show you how to build this small temple using the Astraeos structures, perfectly fitting of course for the new Astraeos map, but you can also use the Roman custom cosmetic, which is a premium one for an alternative look, but basically the same idea. And this small temple can of course be used as your early game starter base because it's a nice small build that is not too difficult to make, or as a decoration option for your future base. Maybe a nice temple to hold all your artifacts. As always, if you enjoy seeing these build tutorials, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course feel free to leave your suggestion for future builds down in the comments below. And as usual, we want to start out with a foundation. This time we want to start out with a 4 wide one and a 6 long. So not all too big. And then we just want to make sure that we fill this in the entire way. This is all that we'll need to get this thing started. Now we want to go here on the side. We want to go up by 1 pillar for now. Just like this, and just like this on the other side as well. Then the opposite side of the building, we're going to do the same thing. Just add in these 2 pillars, and that is going to be our starting point. Here on the side, we want to start filling in some walls all the way through. The same here at the back, and the same here on the other side of the building as well. Then we want to take out our ceilings. We can go and fill in the first 2 layers. And then depending on whether or not you want to be able to access this, you can either just fill in this entire way. You could also make one of these walls into a secret door, of course. Or you could add a cellar door somewhere here so that you can still access that little space. Maybe hide like some storage or generators or whatever you want down there as well. So if we have this entire shape, we want to go to the stone stairs or whatever stairs you want to use and fill them in right here at the front of the building. There we go. Now there's multiple ways that you can fill this front side in. You might not be able to place like slope walls for the lower part, but for the top part we should be able to. And then you can either do a wall underneath, or you can just have your foundations continue, whatever you prefer over there. Doesn't really matter too much as long as we fill in these sides. I'm going to use the walls for now, and then again this one you're probably not going to be able to place another slope wall depending on the height of your landscape. All right, now it's time to get started on the main building. First of all, we want to place 3 pillars right here and right over there. And we want to change these to the second variation of the Astraeos skins from top to bottom. This is just because the Astraeos skins usually leave a gap between the gate and a wall. So this is just to make sure everything is filled in. If you're using other skins, you don't really need to do this. Then we can place the actual gateway and of course the actual gate itself. Then we'll be able to add some walls next to it, 3 high on both sides, just like this. And that's going to be the main entrance right here at the front. Here at the side, we want to also start filling in this wall. So the first layer is going to be a wall. Second layer is just going to be a wall. And then the top layer here is going to be some windows. So once again, on the other side, there's going to be 2 layers of normal walls going all the way through. And then some windows on the top layer right there. And here at the back, you kind of want to do the same thing. First of all, we want to fill this in. We want to also fill in these corners, and you can fill it entirely with the wall, or you can also add some windows here just to let in the extra bit of light. And then of course we can go around and fill in all of these windows that we've placed all the way till the end. All right, then here on this side, we want to continue the pillar all the way to the top. We want to add one here next to the building, and of course also supporting it underneath like this. And we can actually continue this pillar 3 high as well. Then here on the other side, we want to do the same thing. So make sure that one goes all the way up. Add a pillar next to this layer of the walls all the way to the bottom, and then raise this one up by 3 as well. And we want to add some extra pillars, one right here and one right over there. Then we take out some quarter walls and we want to add a layer right on top of the pillars. If it doesn't let you place them right on top like this, you can always have a temporary wall until you get these snap points. Yeah, but we should have a little layer of these quarter walls right there at the front. Then we want to take out the quarter walls again and just kind of go from the top of these walls all the way until we meet up with this front layer. We want to do the same thing here on the other side, so just kind of go all the way through from the back until the front. And then here on the sides, what you can actually do for some extra details is add in some of these sloped walls to create some nice curves later on with the skins. You can't really do it here, but you can also do it here in the middle of the entrance. Here at the back, it's going to be slightly different. In the middle above the windows, we want 2 normal walls, and then we want to have these quarter walls to the side of it. Okay, then here at the front, we actually want to add a layer of quarter ceilings right in front of this little layer of quarter walls. And then we also want to have one on top of that. So just like this, we want to follow along the same way. And then this is where in the middle we want to have 4 of these quarter walls. Then we can take out the slope walls. We can bring them up like this, kind of following this shape, creating a little mountain, I always like to say. And then we want to have some thin beams in front of this ledge as well. We can actually do a similar thing here at the back with these slope walls. You know, we just want to create that same little mountain shape for the roof. Now, I think what you will have to do on official in order to avoid needing to overlap any structures, instead of this layer of quarter ceilings on the top layer, you'll have to have a full ceiling. So this whole wall will be a little bit more forward. It might look a little bit weirder, but that is a way to make sure that you have an even amount and that fits in the ramps, because then you can just go and start filling in your ramps all the way through without any problems. So you start here, and if I do that now, you'll see that I will have to overlap, which you won't be able to do. So if you move it forward a little bit, you'll be able to make it work on official settings without having to overlap at all. If you do have overlapping enabled, what you want to do is you want to place this one right over here, and then we can kind of follow through until the other side. And here at the back, we actually want to have the full overlap so that we still have an overlap at the back, because otherwise we wouldn't have one. Then we want to do the same thing here on this side, of course, just following along the edge like this. And then, of course, add another layer for this small roof of our little temple. And then we're pretty much there and ready to get skinning this build, of course, to turn it into something nice. There we go. All we need to do now is to fill in this layer, because obviously we do not want to leave it like this. So first of all, we want to have some quarter walls right on top of there. Then we want to have 2 full walls right here in the middle. And then we will have our full sloped walls like this to fill in those gaps. And with that, we're ready to start skinning this base. First of all, we like to use the second variation, and we will change the stairs into these beautiful stairs. We can change the middle here of the pillars as well. And we'll do that right here on these corners, of course, as well. This one right there, and this one right there. And if you have any one of these lower layers, you want to also use the second variation of the pillars for those, so that they continue to go nicely into the ground. Here at the front, you want to create this lovely curve. We want to create that curve here on the sides as well. And we can actually also do that here for these middle walls. So this middle wall, we want to change the skin of all the way through to the end. There we go. And we also want to use the second variation here at the bottom layer. But we will be changing that to a different variant. So for now, will just fill in this entire layer. And then you want to make sure that you go into that and change it to the V2 because, well, the V1 actually it's called, but yeah, the second variation of the second variation to keep it not confusing. But yeah, you can change them to get this really nice little pattern and detail in there. And then here inside the temple, I would personally also change them to these lovely second variations so that you have the nice flower pattern here on the inside. Then here on the front, we want to change these to the second variation, although you can also use the third variation if you like the look of that a little bit more. And I actually want to continue this all the way around for this layer of quarter walls, because again, I really like this layer with the details on the second variation. But yeah, feel free to switch it out for the third one, or even the first one if you want a more plain detailing on there. And then here at the top, you can also add them in so that you have a little bit of detail on that layer. But you can again also just go for the blanco one if you prefer those, especially if you might want to mount like a trophy here to display. And then here on the top, of course, the top layer of the roof, we want to change to the second variant as well. You could do the bottom layer, but you can also use the third variant if you want to add even more detail to the roof. Then it's time to switch to the third variant. First of all, we can do these pillars just like this. And if you see some of the pillars not being rotated the same way, you can interact with them and rotate them and make sure they're all facing the same way, so you don't have any weird little details that you don't like. It's an easy and quick way. And then these ones actually also we want to of course flip around so that it makes a lot more sense for the design to be like that. But yeah, we want to make sure that we go around and do that for all of these, just like so. That's one side of the building done. Then this side we're gonna do the same thing, of course, changing all these skins and then making sure to flip the ones at this layer so that we get the nice look all the way across the board. Then here in the front, we of course want to change these to the third variation so that you get the nice roof pieces. And then we want to change the actual roofs themselves to have the little detail here at the end. Here, of course, we also want to change those to the third variation. These as well to get the fancy decorations. And actually, you can change those there as well. We can then change these walls to the fancy variant. It's looking really nice. And then here we can do the same thing. The ones above it as well. And of course, we can change these. And then we can change the entire roof all the way until the front of the building. And of course on this side we also want to change these walls. And then we take out the first variation to change these into the first one, as well as these ones right over here. These ones we definitely want to have the clean variation, as well as the gate. We can change the bottom layer. We can change these ceilings so that they have the nice clean look. If you want to, you can of course have the clean variant instead of the detailing. Again, totally up to you. But if you maybe want to have like a trophy of a Rex skull there, that is a really nice way to keep a clean background for that. Then we want to change these all the way alongside the building. Also this first layer here, this first layer, and the bottom layer back here. The same on this side, of course. Changing all of those, changing that layer, changing this layer. Then I also like to go for the windows themselves with this variant. The same thing here in these windows. There we go. And that is already starting to look like a proper little temple now, with some nice room here on the inside. All that we need to do is take out the second variation, because it was almost not visible before, but this little pillar we want to change to the second variant to have it stand out a little bit more. And there we go. That is what the temple will look like with the Astraeos structures. So it's a very nice, small, easy to build little temple that you can get done quite quickly. So you can even use this as like a little starter base design, or just a little bit of decoration in your Astraeos base, maybe because you just want to have like a nice statue inside to worship, or keep your artifacts in a room like this. You know, make a little temple for your artifacts. There's multiple ways where you could use a small little temple design like this. So yeah, it's quite a simple design, but it does the job. And alternatively, as I said in the intro, you can also use different custom cosmetics because it works perfectly, of course, with the Astraeos ones, which are free to use and have that really nice Greek look. But I originally actually made them using mostly the Roman Custom Cosmetics, which is a premium one, and then only the roof and the little ridge at the top is from the Klinger Rustic Custom Cosmetic. But yeah, you can see it is very similar in design. The Roman textures are similar, but just a different hue, a little bit different details in there, different, you know, options. The banners as well are from the Roman Custom Cosmetic. But you can see you can get a quite decent and different look. But yeah, looks really nice to me as well. I love these banners as details. These here are campfires, but then also with the Roman skins on there. Just a nice little detail. And there's a lot of these decoration options in the Roman Custom Cosmetic, like these urns, which are all deco boxes. There's some benches in here that should look like this. I don't know why they don't. And then some different statues. So yeah, it's a really nice one to combine with the Astraeos one, but it is premium, except for the Klinger roof that is free. But yeah, it's a different option if you want to go for that. But if you do not want to pay for a cosmetic, definitely just go with the Astraeos one, because they are also looking really, really good, and they fit perfectly with this map. Anyway, that's going to be it for this build tutorial. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hope to see you around in the next video. Of course, feel free to leave suggestions for future builds down below. Goodbye.